Most middle-class people don't look broke, they look normal. They have a decent apartment, a stable job, a clean car in the driveway, and that car, that's usually where the trap begins. Because one of the fastest ways to stay middle class forever is to keep upgrading the thing that loses value the second you buy it. Cars don't just cost money once, they cost you every month. The payment, the insurance, the gas, the maintenance, the repairs, the registration, the interest, and the opportunity cost nobody talks about. That last one is the real killer. Because the middle class doesn't usually get destroyed by one big mistake, it gets drained by normal looking monthly decisions. And the car payment is one of the most dangerous ones. Because it feels small enough to ignore, but permanent enough to quietly control your life. A lot of people don't buy the car they need. They buy the car that matches the version of themselves they want other people to see: responsible, successful, adult, finally doing well. That's why people making decent money still end up financially fragile, because they're driving their image instead of building their balance sheet. And the worst part? The car often gets upgraded right when life starts getting more expensive. Marriage, kids, rent increases, medical bills, higher groceries, more pressure. That's exactly when cash flow should become sacred. But instead, people lock themselves into a payment that follows them everywhere: to work, to stress, to emergencies, to the future they keep postponing. And once that payment becomes normal, your brain starts building your entire life around it. You don't ask, how do I increase freedom? You ask, how do I keep affording this? That is a completely different life. Because once a fixed expense becomes untouchable, your flexibility dies. You stay in jobs longer than you should. You avoid taking smart risks. You delay investing. You say no to opportunities. You need every paycheck to arrive on time. That's not wealth. That's expensive stability. And expensive stability is how the middle class stays trapped. Now, to be clear, owning a car is not the problem. Needing a car is normal, especially in places where public transportation sucks. The problem is when the car becomes bigger than the mission. When transportation turns into identity. When convenience turns into ego. When a machine starts eating the money that should have been buying freedom. Because every dollar going into a depreciating liability is a dollar that is not going into future leverage. And leverage is what the middle class needs most. Not more appearance. Not more comfort. Not more monthly payments. Leverage. That means skills that raise your income, assets that produce cash flow, tools that increase output, businesses, investments, ownership. But instead, a lot of people are financing status while telling themselves they're being practical. That's the trick. The payment feels responsible. The decision feels mature. The car feels earned. But the math doesn't care how the purchase feels. If it keeps you stuck, it's expensive. And if it keeps you dependent on monthly income, it's probably a trap. That's why a lot of middle-class people look successful while living one emergency away from panic. Nice car, weak balance sheet, that combination is everywhere. A lot of people don't realize they're not buying transportation anymore. They're buying a monthly reminder that they can't slow down. And the more your income rises, the more dangerous it becomes. Because raises don't usually create wealth, they create permission, permission to upgrade, permission to finally enjoy life, permission to make fixed expenses permanent. That's how people end up earning more every year, while feeling less free every month. And once your lifestyle upgrades faster than your assets, you are not becoming richer. You are becoming harder to save. Because the real cost of the wrong car is not just money, it's the years of flexibility you never get back. So, what do you do instead? First, stop asking what car you can afford. Start asking what car protects your cash flow. That is a better question. Second, use the 5-year freedom test. Before you upgrade, ask, if I put this payment into assets, skills, or a side income system for 5 years, would future me be stronger or weaker? That one question can save you tens of thousands. Third, separate transportation from identity. Nobody gets rich because strangers thought their car looked impressive. But a lot of people stay broke because they built their self-worth around visible things. And finally, remember what the middle class gets sold: the image of success, not the structure of freedom. A nicer car can make you look like you're moving up, but if it increases your dependency, reduces your options, and delays ownership, it's not moving you up. It's just making the trap more comfortable. So if this video hit a little too close to home, good. Because the goal is not to shame people for owning cars. The goal is to expose the quiet math that keeps smart, hardworking people stuck. If this changed the way you see money, subscribe, because the next video might save you from another expensive trap. Middle-class people don't usually get destroyed by one giant decision. They get buried by normal ones. And sometimes, the nicest thing in the driveway is the reason freedom never arrives.